Hi, lovely. When I work with women, I've learned that one of the biggest fears women have about quitting alcohol is this. What if I stop drinking and then start again? Many women have already experienced that. They've stopped for a week or a month, sometimes even longer, and then suddenly they're back to where they started. So the thought becomes, what's the point of quitting if I'm just going to fail again? If that's something that you've worried about, I want to talk about it today because this fear is incredibly common. And the way most people think about it is completely wrong. First of all, let's be honest about something. Most women who eventually leave alcohol behind have tried to quit before, often several times. I hear this all the time. They might stop for a few days or a few weeks. Sometimes they manage a few months and then something happens. It might be a stressful week, a holiday, a social event, and suddenly they're drinking again. And the conclusion that they draw is, I can't do this. But what's actually happening in those attempts is something much more useful. Every time you stop drinking, you learn something. You can learn when your cravings show up. You learn which situations feel hardest. You learn what alcohol has been doing in your life. Those attempts aren't failures, they're information. The reason many women start drinking again isn't because they lack willpower. It's because most programs focus on only one thing, stopping drinking. The goal becomes get through the day, count the days. But if that's the only focus, alcohol stays at the centre of your life. You're still thinking about it, managing it, avoiding it, and fighting it. And eventually, that fight becomes exhausting. So when life gets difficult again, alcohol can feel like the easiest way out. This is where I approach things a little differently. Of course, you need to stop drinking. But quitting alcohol isn't actually the goal, and it should never be. Quitting alcohol is simply the doorway. The real work is reconnecting with you, with who you are, with yourself. It's about asking questions like, what do I actually want my life to feel like? What makes me feel rested? What makes me feel alive? What is the most loving thing I could do for myself right now? Because once you begin building a life that actually feels good, alcohol slowly becomes much less important. You're not just removing something, you're creating something much, much better. When women begin to do that work, something interesting happens. They start feeling clearer. They start trusting themselves. They start beginning to notice things about their lives that alcohol was hiding. Sometimes they realise that their life is actually pretty good. Alcohol was just taking away their ability to enjoy it. Other times they see that something needs to change. Maybe a job, maybe a relationship, maybe simply the way they treat themselves. But whatever happens, the focus shifts away from alcohol, and that's the real transformation. The goal isn't to spend the rest of your life fighting alcohol. The goal is to reach the point where alcohol simply isn't relevant anymore. So let's come back to that original fear. What if I quit drinking and then start again? If that happens, it doesn't mean you're incapable of change. It means you're still learning about your relationship with alcohol. Each attempt gives you more clarity, more understanding, and more awareness of what you need. Eventually, those pieces begin to come together, and one day something will shift. Alcohol stops making sense in your life. I remember very clearly the moment I realised that that had happened for me. I was walking to work one morning and I suddenly felt this overwhelming sense of joy and happiness. I actually had tears in my eyes. And I remember thinking, oh, this is what happy people feel like. In that moment, I realised something. Alcohol had been standing between me and myself. Once it was gone, I was free to live my life in a way that felt right and right for me. So if you're worried that you might quit drinking and then start again, please don't let that fear stop you. Every step you take away from alcohol is a step toward clarity and to yourself. The most loving thing you can do is stay curious about what your life might look like without it. And if you're just beginning to question your relationship with alcohol, I've created something that might really help. It's called 10 Things I Wish Someone Had Told Me About Grey Area Drinking. It is completely free and it shares some of the most important insights that helped me understand what alcohol was actually doing in my life. You can download it using the link below, and if this video resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel. I talk about alcohol, midlife, and what it really means to build a life you don't want to escape from. Thank you for being here. Take care.